What if 90 days could change the way you think, move, and live forever? 90 days of no excuses. 90 days of ruthless consistency. This isn't motivation. This is war against your own comfort. Because the truth is simple. Discipline builds what motivation destroys. You don't need another plan. You need commitment. 90 days. One focus. No negotiations. This is the 90-day discipline challenge, your initiation into becoming the kind of person who never quits. Chapter 1. Stop waiting for motivation. You've been told to wait until you feel ready. To wait for the spark. To wait for motivation to arrive and pull you into action. That's the lie. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is mechanical. Motivation is the fire that burns bright and dies fast. Discipline is the engine that never stops. If you build your life on motivation, you'll spend every day chasing a feeling that doesn't last. If you build it on discipline, you'll build something that never breaks. You have a choice. You can keep waiting for energy, or you can move even when you have none. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Professionals move without feeling. Amateurs wait for comfort. Let me be clear. The most successful people you admire, elite soldiers, high-performance athletes, world-class entrepreneurs, they don't wake up motivated every day. They wake up human, tired, frustrated, distracted. But they move anyway. They have learned a rule that most people never understand. You act, then you feel. You move, then you believe. You don't wait for clarity. You create it through action. You don't wait for motivation. You trigger it through motion. That's the key. Every day you wait for the right mood, you train your brain to associate action with emotion. And that's dangerous, because emotion is unstable. One bad night of sleep, one disagreement, one setback, and you'll stop. But when you train the machine, your mind, your habits, your system, you become unstoppable. You no longer rely on feeling ready. You become the kind of person who acts regardless of the feeling. Think about a soldier preparing for a mission. He doesn't get to say, I don't feel like it today. He doesn't get to wait for motivation. He moves because the mission demands it. Think about a world-class athlete. She trains in the rain, in pain, in silence. She's not motivated every morning. She's trained to move anyway. And entrepreneurs? They don't always have inspiration. They have responsibility. The mission is bigger than their emotions. They act because action is who they are. That's what you must train into yourself over these 90 days. You must break the addiction to feeling motivated. You must build the muscle of moving without it. You wake up. You execute the system. You don't negotiate. You don't wait. You act. Because here's the truth. Every time you act without motivation, you're rewiring your mind. You're telling your brain, we move first. The feelings can catch up later. And eventually they do. Momentum doesn't come from inspiration. It comes from repetition. You move. You build proof. You create motion. And that motion becomes motivation. You act, then you feel. You move, then you believe. Here's how to train it. Simple. Brutal. Effective. Step 1. Decide the non-negotiables. These are the daily actions you will complete no matter how you feel. They are small enough to complete on your worst day and powerful enough to build momentum on your best. Step 2. Remove emotion from the equation. Stop asking, do I feel like it? Replace it with, is it time? When the clock hits, you move. No discussion. No delay. Step 3. Reward completion, not motivation. Don't celebrate when you want to do the work. Celebrate when you do it even though you don't. That's the real win. Here's what you'll notice after a few days. You stop needing permission. You stop needing hype. You start developing trust in yourself. Self-trust is built through proof. Every time you act without feeling, you give your mind proof that you are dependable. And when you are dependable, you become powerful. That's the foundation of discipline, proof. You've spent years chasing a mood. Now you're building a mind. Motivation is for beginners. Discipline is for builders. You have a choice. Keep chasing a feeling or build a future. That's the key. You might say, but I don't know where to start. Start anywhere. Start by standing up when you said you would. Start by making the bed when you don't care to. Start by keeping one small promise to yourself. It's not about the size of the action. It's about the truth of it. Every act of discipline is a declaration. I am in control. You don't need their permission. You don't need inspiration. You just need to start. The first push is the hardest, but once you start moving, everything changes. Energy follows action. Confidence follows movement. Belief follows proof. You act, then you feel. You move, then you believe. Repeat that until it becomes automatic. Here's the trap most people fall into. They confuse motivation with identity. They think, if I'm not motivated, maybe I'm not meant to do this. Wrong. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks who you are. And the answer is found in your behavior, not your emotion. Every time you act without motivation, you vote for the version of yourself that follows through. Every time you skip because you don't feel it, you vote for the version that gives up. Which one wins? The one you cast the most votes for. That's how discipline is built, not through inspiration but through repetition. You train the machine. You teach the body to move before the mind resists. You let consistency become your compass. And soon you won't even recognize the person who used to wait to feel ready. Remember this, you don't need motivation to start. You need movement to begin. You have a choice. Act or wait. Build or drift. But understand this, waiting is a decision. Every time you delay, you strengthen the habit of hesitation. Hesitation is the silent killer of greatness. Discipline destroys hesitation. When the alarm goes off, move. When the resistance shows up, move. When your feelings argue, move. You act, then you feel. You move, then you believe. You are not a victim of emotion. You are the architect of execution. Your body moves when you command it. Your life changes when you choose it. So from this moment forward, stop waiting for motivation. It's not coming. But something better is. Momentum. Momentum built by movement. Movement built by choice. Choice built by discipline. And that's what these 90 days are about. Training yourself to act without permission, to move without motivation, to build without emotion. Discipline is the decision that changes everything. You have the power to decide. And that's the key. You've stopped waiting. You've started moving. You've learned that action is stronger than emotion, that motion creates belief. Now let's take this deeper. You've mastered your first rule. Stop waiting for motivation. Now let's talk about what to build in its place. Chapter 2. Build the system, not the goal. Goals inspire you once. Systems carry you daily. That's the difference between short bursts of excitement and a lifetime of progress. A goal gives you direction. A system gives you momentum. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That's the truth most people ignore. Because goals sound powerful. They look good on paper. They make you feel like you're moving forward. But goals are emotional. Systems are mechanical. A goal gets you started. A system keeps you going. A system repeats what a goal forgets. Everyone wants to win big. Everyone wants the dream outcome. The body, the business, the breakthrough. But most people never get there because they build castles in their minds and never pour the foundation under their feet. A goal is the castle. A system is the bricks. If you only focus on the castle, it'll collapse. If you focus on laying bricks daily, the castle builds itself. You have a choice. You can keep setting goals that make you feel inspired, or you can build systems that make success inevitable. That's the key. A system repeats what a goal forgets. Let's look at a real example. A writer says, I want to write a bestseller. That's a goal. It's inspiring. It sounds meaningful, but it's also vague, out of your control, undefined. A better approach? Write 500 words every morning before the world wakes up. That's a system. The system doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care about mood or circumstance. It simply repeats. Day after day, word after word. That writer might not write a bestseller immediately, but over time they become the kind of person who produces consistent, meaningful work. And that's what wins. Because the goal is an outcome. The system is identity. A system repeats what a goal forgets. You can apply this to anything. Want to get fit? Don't focus on losing 20 pounds. That's a goal. It depends on timing, energy, motivation. Instead, build a system, Train at 7 a.m. every weekday, no questions asked. Want to grow your business? Don't focus on making 6 figures. That's a goal. Build a system, reach out to 5 potential clients a day. Track your numbers, refine your offer. Want to build discipline? Don't focus on becoming a better person. Build a system, wake up at the same time, move your body daily, and reflect before bed. Systems create structure. Structure creates freedom. Freedom creates results. That's the formula. A system repeats what a goal forgets. The problem with goals is that they create emotional spikes. You feel powerful when you set them and powerless when you don't hit them. They create anxiety because they're focused on the future. Systems keep you grounded in the present. They give you something to do today, not something to worry about tomorrow. When you have a system, progress becomes automatic. You don't need to constantly ask, "Am I there yet?" You just do the work. And one day you look up and realize you've built the thing you used to dream about. That's how quiet success happens. No drama. No hype. Just repetition. A system repeats what a goal forgets. Here's how to build your system. Step 1. Define the controllables. Ask yourself, what can I do every single day that moves me forward? Focus on the smallest measurable action that compounds over time. Step 2. Anchor it to time and place. Discipline loves predictability. Set a specific time. Set a specific environment. When the clock hits, you move. Step 3. Track behavior, not outcome. Don't measure your worth by results. Measure it by repetitions. Track the days you showed up, not the days you felt good. That's the secret of mastery. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to be great once. You need to be consistent always. That's what systems do. They remove emotion from execution. A system repeats what a goal forgets. You might think, but I need goals to stay motivated. No, you need clarity to stay consistent. Goals can exist, but they are only the compass. The system is the map. Without a map, you stay lost even if you know where you want to go. When you rely on goals, you're relying on hope. When you rely on systems, you're relying on design. Design beats desire. Structure beats speed. Consistency beats bursts of inspiration. That's the truth behind every high performer. They aren't chasing the finish line. They're mastering the laps. Systems protect you from emotion. On good days, they give you direction. On bad days, they give you stability. Because when life gets messy, and it always does, the system keeps moving. It doesn't ask for motivation. It doesn't ask for confidence. It just runs. Like an engine. Like a rhythm. Like discipline itself. A system repeats what a goal forgets. Let's get practical. If you want to change your life in these 90 days, stop writing goals. Start writing systems. Instead of, I want to wake up earlier, say, I wake up at 5:30 every day. Instead of, I want to be more productive, say, I block 3 hours for deep work daily. Instead of, I want to read more, say, I read 10 pages before bed. Those are systems. They don't depend on feeling ready. They depend on showing up. You can't control outcomes, but you can always control input. An input done long enough becomes output. That's the law of consistency. A system repeats what a goal forgets. This is how you rewire your mind for discipline. Stop worshiping the result. Start honoring the routine. Every repetition is progress. Every small win compounds. Every consistent action builds identity. Because discipline isn't about achievement, it's about alignment. You align who you are with what you do. And over time, that alignment becomes unstoppable momentum. You no longer chase goals, you become the system that produces them. A system repeats what a goal forgets. So remember this, goals can inspire you once. Systems will carry you forever. You don't need to dream harder. You need to execute smarter. You don't need motivation. You need repetition. Discipline doesn't care about your excitement. It only cares about your follow-through. And systems make follow-through automatic. Every system you build is a vote for your future self. Every system you maintain is a promise kept. You're no longer chasing success. You're manufacturing it. A system repeats what a goal forgets. You've built the structure that moves you forward, daily, mechanically, relentlessly. Now it's time to take that same structure and apply it where it matters most, your mornings. Because the day doesn't belong to the person who wakes up first, it belongs to the one who takes control first. You've built the system. Now let's talk about timing. Chapter 3. The Power of the First Hour. The first hour of your day is your identity in motion. It's the declaration of who you are before the world tells you what to be. You either command that hour, or you surrender it. You either lead your day, or your day leads you. And here's the truth most people never understand. The day doesn't begin when you wake up. It begins when you take control. The first hour is your foundation. If it's weak, the rest of the day collapses. If it's strong, everything else aligns. You want to change your life? Don't start with your goals. Start with your mornings. Win the morning, win the mind. Most people begin their day in reaction. They open their phone. They check messages. They scroll through other people's lives before they even remember their own. Before they take their first breath of awareness, they've already lost ownership of their focus. You can't win a war when you start as the target. You can't command a day when you begin in chaos. The first hour must belong to you. Not your inbox. Not your notifications. Not the noise of the world. Because that first hour is the mirror of your priorities. If it's filled with distraction, you're building weakness. If it's filled with intention, you're building power. That's the key. Let's talk about what the best do. Elite performers guard their mornings like sacred ground. They know that what they do before the world wakes up decides who they become when it does. They control before they consume. They create before they react. They don't check the weather, they create the climate. They don't read the comments, they write the story. A soldier doesn't start the day by scrolling. He starts by moving, stretching, preparing. He anchors his body before the world makes demands. A writer doesn't start the day by reading headlines. She starts by writing 500 words no matter what. Because that's her system. And a system repeats what a goal forgets. An athlete doesn't wait for inspiration. She begins training while others are still negotiating with the alarm clock. Because she knows one truth: if you win the first hour, the rest follows. Win the morning, win the mind. So how do you do it? How do you take command of the first hour? It starts with a decision. You must decide that the first hour is sacred. You must defend it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Here's the structure: control before consumption. Creation before reaction. Control before consumption means this: no input before intention. No social media. No emails. No news. Your mind wakes up empty and powerful. Don't fill it with noise. Instead, fill it with direction. Meditate. Journal. Stretch. Move. Anything that strengthens your inner command. Creation before reaction means this: start with output. Create something, words, ideas, effort, before you respond to the world. When you create first, you tell your brain, I lead. When you react first, you tell your brain, I follow. Which one are you training? You have a choice. You can wake up and drift, or you can wake up and direct. If your first act is checking notifications, you're letting strangers dictate your mood. If your first act is intentional movement or reflection, you're declaring who you are. That's the difference between discipline and distraction. One builds the day. The other burns it. Win the morning, win the mind. The truth is, you're already running a morning routine. You just may not realize it. The question isn't, do you have a routine? The question is, does it serve you or drain you? Every habit is a vote for the kind of life you're building. If your mornings start with consumption, you're training your brain to seek noise. If your mornings start with control, you're training your brain to seek clarity. And clarity is rare. But clarity is power. That's the key. Here's a simple framework for your first hour. For the first 10 minutes, be silent. No phone. No screen. Just breathe. Center yourself. From 10 to 30 minutes, move your body. Wake up your energy. Train your system to act before you think. From 30 minutes to 1 hour, create. Write. Read. Plan. Build something that feeds your mind before the world feeds on it. That's it. Simple. Repeatable. Powerful. It's not about perfection. It's about consistency. The world doesn't need another perfect morning. It needs a committed one. Because every morning you control is a brick in the wall of your discipline. And brick by brick you build your fortress. Win the morning, win the mind. Maybe you're thinking, but my mornings are chaotic. I have a job. I have kids. I don't have an hour. Fine. Start with 10 minutes. Start with 5. Discipline is not about time, it's about ownership. You don't need an hour. You need authority. If you can claim 5 minutes for yourself, claim them. 5 minutes of stillness is better than 60 of scrolling. 5 minutes of writing your intentions is better than 100 likes that mean nothing. You're not chasing comfort. You're building control. You have a choice. When you wake up and reach for your phone, you're telling your subconscious, I am a reactor. When you wake up and reach for purpose, you're telling it, I am a leader. One habit creates anxiety. The other builds identity. And identity is destiny. That's the hidden power of the first hour. It's not about routine, it's about identity formation. You become what you repeatedly do when no one's watching. And no one's watching at 5 a.m. That's why it matters. The world will always try to claim your attention. But your first hour, your first breath, your first choice, your first thought, belongs to you. And if you don't guard it, the world will take it. So guard it with discipline. Protect it with structure. Defend it like your life depends on it, because your focus does. You're not building a morning routine. You're building mental armor. You're training your brain to follow your command before the world gives it orders. Every day you win that hour, you build self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of power. Win the morning, win the mind. Here's your challenge. Tomorrow, before you touch your phone, before you check your messages, before you let the world in, own your first hour. Don't think. Just move. Just act. Just begin. Because the first hour decides everything. It decides your energy. It decides your mindset. It decides your discipline. Win that and you've already won the day. Win the morning, win the mind. You've now taken control of the most powerful part of your day, the beginning. You've learned to lead yourself before the world leads you. But what happens when you remove choice altogether? When you build your environment so that discipline becomes automatic? That's where we're headed next. Chapter 4. Eliminate options, increase power. Most people think freedom means having more choices. But the truth is, more choices create more chaos. More options don't give you power. They drain it. Discipline thrives in limitation. Reduce choices, expand execution. That's the paradox of success. Structure creates freedom. Boundaries build momentum. Rules set you free. Fewer choices. Faster progress. Greater peace. Every morning you make hundreds of tiny decisions. What to wear. What to eat. What to do first. What to ignore. Every one of those decisions costs energy. And decision fatigue kills focus. Your brain has a limited amount of decision power each day. Spend it on trivial things and you'll have nothing left for what matters. That's why the most disciplined people remove choice wherever they can. They know that simplicity is strength. Take Steve Jobs. He wore the same outfit every day, not for style but for focus. A black turtleneck, jeans, sneakers. Because every morning that was one less decision to make. He didn't care about looking interesting. He cared about staying effective. He understood something most people miss. Energy spent on small choices steals power from big ones. The same is true for Mark Zuckerberg, for world-class athletes, for top CEOs. They don't waste mental energy on unnecessary options. They automate the small so they can dominate the big. That's the key. Fewer choices, faster progress, greater peace. Ask yourself this: how much time do you waste deciding instead of doing? How often do you sit in hesitation, scrolling through options, debating small things, losing hours to indecision? Every delay is a leak in your focus. Every option is a temptation to do less. Eliminate the noise. Simplify the system. Discipline begins when you remove the unnecessary. You don't need 50 workout plans. You need one plan you'll follow. You don't need 12 productivity apps. You need one calendar that you actually open. You don't need more inspiration. You need fewer distractions. Simplicity is a weapon. Here's what most people get wrong about discipline. They think it's about willpower. They think it's about pushing harder every day. It's not. It's about environment. It's about design. It's about creating a world where doing the right thing is easier than doing the wrong one. You can't always control your motivation, but you can always control your structure. If your kitchen is filled with junk food, discipline becomes a battle. If your workspace is cluttered with distractions, focus becomes a fight. But if your environment supports your mission, action becomes automatic. That's what we're building here, automatic discipline. Fewer choices, faster progress, greater peace. You have a choice. You can live like everyone else, cluttered, distracted, overwhelmed by options. Or you can live like the few, minimal, focused, unshakable. You don't need to decide 100 things every morning. Decide once. Set the rule. Follow it forever. That's what systems do. They remove the need to decide. When you systemize your life, you create freedom. The writer who sets a fixed writing time doesn't need to think about it. The athlete who trains at the same hour every day doesn't negotiate with excuses. The disciplined mind doesn't ask if, it knows when. That's the secret. Fewer choices, faster progress, greater peace. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Identify your high-friction decisions. What drains you daily? What decisions slow you down? It might be what to wear, what to eat, or when to work. Step 2. Automate them. Create templates. Meal prep once a week. Set default times for important tasks. Make the routine so simple that failure requires effort. Step 3. Protect your schedule like a fortress. When you remove flexibility from the wrong things, you gain power for the right things. That's the principle of disciplined living. You don't lose freedom when you eliminate choice. You gain direction. You don't lose spontaneity. You gain speed. You don't lose control. You gain power. That's the key. Think of your mind as a battery. Every small choice drains a little energy. By noon, most people are already empty, not because they worked hard, but because they made too many pointless decisions. The disciplined mind doesn't waste charge. It conserves power for what matters. That's why structure is sacred. It's not restriction, it's optimization. When you know what to do next, you stop wasting energy on doubt. When you know what matters most, you stop chasing noise. The most powerful people in the world don't have more time. They have fewer distractions. They have systems. And those systems run their lives with precision. Fewer choices, faster progress, greater peace. You don't need to think harder. You need to decide once and execute forever. That's why minimalism isn't just an aesthetic. It's a mindset. You remove what doesn't serve your purpose so that what remains can thrive. Your closet, your desk, your calendar, your diet, your routines. All of it is a reflection of your priorities. Every excess item is a piece of friction. Every unnecessary decision is a chain. Remove them. Simplify them. Free yourself through structure. Because when you design your life for discipline, you eliminate the need for willpower. You're not struggling to stay consistent. You're simply following the system. And that's real power. Here's what happens when you simplify. Your brain quiets. Your energy rises. Your execution becomes smoother. You stop overthinking. You start producing. You start moving faster than hesitation can catch you. Because every moment spent deciding is a moment not spent doing. Discipline doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for clarity. And clarity comes from simplicity. That's why the most productive people appear calm. They're not rushing. They're not debating. They've already decided. Their minds are free because their systems are fixed. That's the discipline we're building here. Fewer choices, faster progress, greater peace. So here's your assignment. Audit your life. Find every decision you make daily that doesn't move you forward, and eliminate it. Decide once, live many. Plan your meals. Set your training time. Build your morning structure. Automate what's repetitive so you can focus on what's creative. The less you have to think, the more you can build. You are not reducing freedom. You are reclaiming it. Because real freedom is not the ability to choose endlessly, it's the power to focus completely. Fewer choices, faster progress, greater peace. You've learned to eliminate the noise, to simplify for strength, to build focus through structure. Now that you've taken control of your environment, it's time to confront the real cost of growth, pain. You've built systems that run smoothly. Now we'll talk about why discomfort is the true price of freedom. Chapter 5. The pain of consistency is the price of freedom. Comfort is a cage. Consistency is the key that breaks it. Everyone wants freedom, freedom of time, freedom of success, freedom of mind. But freedom isn't given, it's earned. And the currency you pay with is consistency. You can't talk your way to freedom. You can't wish your way to freedom. You earn it, one uncomfortable repetition at a time. Discomfort now, freedom later. Let's get real. You've been trained to believe that comfort equals happiness. That the goal of life is to feel good, to avoid pain, to stay balanced. But balance is often just a polite word for stagnation. Comfort feels safe, but it silently kills growth. Because when you get too comfortable, you stop reaching. And when you stop reaching, you stop becoming. Comfort is the cage that keeps average people from ever touching their potential. Every great life is built on moments of controlled discomfort. The discipline to do what's hard, what's boring, what's repetitive, what's thankless. Because that's what growth feels like. It feels like work. The pain you avoid today becomes the regret you live with tomorrow. Think about it. Every person you admire has walked through pain most people would never choose. Athletes train through exhaustion. Entrepreneurs lose sleep for years before success ever comes. Soldiers sacrifice comfort for command. Writers face rejection after rejection before one yes changes everything. Their secret? They've made peace with pain. They've learned that the pain of discipline is far lighter than the weight of regret. You have a choice. You can suffer once through effort, or forever through avoidance. That's the key. Discomfort now, freedom later. Consistency hurts because it demands repetition when your mind craves novelty. It demands showing up when the excitement is gone. It demands effort when nobody is watching. But that's where the transformation happens. You won't always see progress in the moment. That's the trap. You'll do the work and it'll feel invisible. No applause. No reward. No obvious result. But that's the test. Because consistency is faith in motion. It's doing the work before the results exist. It's believing that the process will pay off, because it always does. Discomfort now, freedom later. Here's the truth. Consistency will test your patience. It will test your resolve. It will test your ego. Because in the beginning, consistency feels unfair. You'll work hard with nothing to show for it. You'll push yourself and wonder why no one notices. You'll question if it's even worth it. But those are the moments that forge resilience. Those are the days that build identity. Because consistency isn't about proving something to others, it's about proving something to yourself. That you can be trusted to follow through. That you can stay when others quit. That you can endure when it's hard, boring, and quiet. That's real strength. Let's make this practical. If you want to master consistency, stop focusing on intensity. Anyone can work hard for a week. Few can work steadily for a year. Discipline doesn't care about how much you can do once. It cares about what you can repeat forever. The secret is in the repetition. The workout. The reading. The journaling. The study. Every repetition is a vote for your future. Every time you show up, you prove to yourself that you can rely on you. Self-trust is built through consistency. And self-trust is the foundation of freedom. Discomfort now. Freedom later. You will be tempted to quit. You will feel tired, unmotivated, unseen. You will think, what's the point? That's the moment where most people stop, and that's why most people stay stuck. But you are not most people. You've already made the choice to live differently. You understand that discomfort is not punishment, it's the process. Every drop of sweat, every delayed gratification, every small, repeated act of discipline, it all adds up. The pain of consistency is temporary. The peace it builds lasts forever. You can't have both comfort and change. You can't grow and stay safe. One must die for the other to live. Discomfort now, freedom later. Here's the formula. Step 1. Accept that pain is part of the process. Don't run from it. Welcome it. Every time you face resistance, remind yourself, this is the price of freedom. Step 2. Shrink your focus to today. Stop worrying about the finish line. Just win the day. Consistency isn't built by chasing the future. It's built by owning the present. Step 3. Detach from results. Your job is repetition, not reward. The results will come when you no longer need them to. You have to rewire your relationship with discomfort. Right now, most people treat it as a warning. They feel pain and think something is wrong. But for the disciplined, pain is a signal that something is growing. You can't build strength without tension. You can't build skill without struggle. You can't build resilience without resistance. The pain is not the problem. The avoidance is. So embrace it. Lean into it. Use it as proof that you are on the right path. Discomfort now. Freedom later. The truth about freedom is that it's not the absence of work. It's the reward of consistency. You want the freedom to travel, to create, to live on your terms? Earn it. Show up when you don't feel like it. Do the work when no one's cheering. Keep your promises when it's inconvenient. That's how freedom is built, through repetition, through patience, through pain. Every act of consistency is an act of liberation. Because every time you follow through, you loosen the chains of weakness. You silence the voice of doubt. You become the kind of person who finishes what they start. And that's freedom, the ability to trust yourself. So remember this, discipline is not punishment. It's the pathway to peace. Consistency is not pain, it's power in disguise. Most people will never feel true freedom because they never endure enough discomfort to earn it. Don't make that mistake. Choose the harder path. Choose the repetitive path. Choose the path that looks boring but builds strength. The results will come. The freedom will come. But only after the pain. Discomfort now. Freedom later. These 90 days are your test. You've learned to act without motivation. You've built systems that run your life. You've controlled your mornings. You've simplified your choices. And now you understand that consistency, painful, persistent consistency, is the price of everything you want. The next time you feel resistance, smile. That's growth. That's transformation. That's the sound of freedom being built. So take a deep breath. Step into the discomfort. And remember the truth. Discomfort now. Freedom later. You've completed the 90-day discipline challenge. But the truth is, this isn't an ending. It's a beginning. Because discipline never ends, it just evolves. You've learned the system. You've built the foundation. You've earned the right to lead yourself. Now go live it. Every day. With focus. With purpose. With power. Discomfort now. Freedom later. That's not a slogan. That's a lifestyle. That's discipline.